Close your eyes and imagine the sound of cracking ice, a sound like a freight train crashing into thunder. That was the sound the residents of Blatten, Switzerland heard just before their world changed forever. Welcome to Unstruct AI, where we dive into the heart of complex events, transforming them into resonant conversations. Today, we're unraveling the story of the Blatten Glacier collapse. This isn't just a news report, it's a visceral experience of a community facing the unimaginable. With us today are two experts who can help us grasp the scale of this disaster. Jordan Singh, research scientist specializing in glacial dynamics, and Alex Chen, a senior analyst with a focus on climate risk and resilience.
It's crucial to understand that what happened in Blatten is a stark warning. Glaciers, once stable fixtures, are now unpredictable actors due to climate change.
And it's not just about the science. It's about the human cost. We need to consider the long-term implications for communities like Blatten and how we can better prepare for these climate-related disasters.
Jordan, can you paint a picture for us? What exactly happened on that mountainside?
Imagine a colossal sheet of ice and rock, several dozens of yards thick and about a mile long, suddenly breaking free from the mountain. It wasn't a gradual melt, it was a catastrophic detachment. The volume of debris was staggering, some 3 million cubic meters, according to Le Monde. That's enough to bury a village under dozens of feet of ice and rock.
And what about the speed? How quickly did this unfold?
It was incredibly rapid. Video footage showed a massive cloud of debris rising up, engulfing the mountainside. The force was such that it blocked a local river, creating a new, unstable lake.
That's where the immediate danger shifted. A blocked river means potential for a torrential lava flow if the water breaches the debris dam. It's a secondary disaster waiting to happen.
We heard reports of one person missing. What's the latest on that, Alex?
Tragically, a 64-year-old resident is still unaccounted for. Search efforts have been hampered by the ongoing instability and dangerous conditions. It's a grim reminder of the immediate human toll.
Before the collapse, were there any warning signs?
Yes, there were. Scientists had observed increasingly frequent rockfalls from the mountain face onto the glacier. This was attributed to melting permafrost, which destabilizes the rock.
The local government acted on those warnings, evacuating Blatten a week prior. That preemptive action undoubtedly saved lives. But it also speaks to a larger issue: the increasing need for climate adaptation strategies.
Interestingly, it was also reported that this particular glacier had been advancing, while most others are receding. Jordan, what explains that anomaly?
That's the paradox. The rockfalls added weight and pressure to the Birch Glacier, causing it to advance. But ultimately, those same rockfalls triggered the catastrophic collapse. It's a complex interplay of factors driven by climate change.
How many people listening live within 50 miles of a glacier right now? This disaster isn't some distant event. It's a wake-up call for communities around the world. Alex, what's the economic impact of this collapse?
Alpine villages like Blatten are heavily reliant on tourism. The immediate loss of infrastructure and the potential for future instability will have a devastating effect on the local economy. Moreover, there's the cost of relocation, rebuilding, and implementing long-term risk mitigation measures. These are expenses that small communities often struggle to bear.
What about the psychological impact on the residents? Maria, who ran the village bakery for 30 years, watched her life's work disappear in minutes. How do you quantify that loss?
There's a sense of helplessness that comes with witnessing the power of nature firsthand. It can shatter a community's sense of place and identity.
And that's where resilience-building initiatives become crucial, providing mental health support, fostering community cohesion, and empowering residents to take control of their future.
Alex, you've studied climate risk extensively. What are the broader implications of this event?
This is a microcosm of a global crisis. Glacial collapse, sea level rise, extreme weather events. These are all interconnected symptoms of a rapidly changing climate. We need a paradigm shift, moving from reactive disaster response to proactive climate action.
Exactly. We can't simply engineer our way out of this. We need to address the root causes of climate change, transitioning to sustainable energy sources and reducing our carbon footprint.
What we're about to tell you about the next glacier at risk will shock you. Stay tuned. Before the break, we were discussing the dire situation in Blatten and the broader implications of glacial collapse. Now, let's turn to solutions. Jordan, what can be done to mitigate these risks in the short term?
Early warning systems are crucial. By monitoring glacial movement and permafrost stability, we can identify potential hazards and evacuate communities in a timely manner. But that requires investment and international cooperation.
And we need to rethink infrastructure. Building codes need to account for increased risks of landslides, floods, and other climate-related disasters. Green infrastructure, like reforestation, can also help stabilize slopes and reduce erosion.
Alex, you've argued that local adaptation is key. Can you elaborate on that?
Every community faces unique challenges. A one-size-fits-all approach simply won't work. We need to empower local leaders to develop solutions that are tailored to their specific needs and circumstances.
But let's be clear, local adaptation is not a substitute for global action. We need drastic emissions reductions to slow down the rate of glacial melt and prevent further catastrophes.
Let's bring in a different perspective. Joining us now is a representative, albeit fictional, from Blatten, Mr. Stefan Muller. Mr. Muller, what are your thoughts on these proposed solutions?
With all due respect, these sound like long-term plans. What about now? My family has lost everything. Where will we live? How will we feed our children? We need immediate help.
That's a critical point. Immediate needs must be addressed alongside long-term strategies. Alex, how can we bridge that gap?
Emergency funds, temporary housing, and food assistance are essential. But we also need to invest in job retraining programs to help residents transition to new industries if their livelihoods have been destroyed.
Perhaps even explore relocating the community to a safer location, although that raises complex social and cultural issues.
Relocate? Leave our ancestral home? That's not a solution. That's surrender. We're mountain people. We belong here.
This highlights the inherent tension between expert solutions and the lived experiences of affected communities. It's a delicate balance. This episode was brought to you by Unstruct AI, creating the most trusted AI news analysis platform, where we transform any topic into balanced, multi-perspective conversations with expert analysis in under 10 seconds. Welcome back. We're still discussing the Swiss glacier collapse and the challenges of finding solutions that are both effective and culturally sensitive. Let's shift gears slightly. How many people listening live within 50 miles of a glacier? This could happen to Chamonix, Zermatt, or any alpine resort you visited. Jordan, are there specific glaciers that are currently exhibiting similar warning signs to the Birch Glacier before its collapse?
Several glaciers in the Himalayas and Andes are showing signs of accelerated melting and instability. The key indicators are increased rockfalls, changes in ice flow velocity, and the formation of superglacial lakes, which can trigger sudden outbursts.
The problem is, many of these at-risk glaciers are located in remote, under-monitored regions. We need to scale up monitoring efforts and invest in local research capacity.
There's a sense of urgency in your voices. We have X years before Y becomes irreversible. Is it really that dire?
The science is clear. We're on a trajectory towards significant warming, and the consequences will be devastating. But it's not too late to change course. Every fraction of a degree of warming we prevent matters.
The same pattern is happening in your backyard. Here's where. Connect to listeners' experiences. Remember that ski trip where you saw the glacier? It's probably gone now. Urgency matters.
Alex Chen and Jordan Singh, thank you for shedding light on this critical issue. It's a somber reminder that climate change is not a distant threat, it's a present reality. And to our listeners, remember that individual actions combined with systemic change can make a difference. Let's choose hope, resilience, and a commitment to a sustainable future. That's all the time we have for today. Join us next week as we explore the potential of AI in predicting and preventing natural disasters. For Unstruct AI, I'm Sam Kokoro.
You know what? While you experts debate global solutions, I'll be sleeping in a refugee center tonight. My neighbor Franz is still missing under that ice. Don't tell me about hope when you can't even find one old man.
Stefan's words hit hard because they're true. As we speak, rescue teams are still searching for that missing man, while his neighbors wonder if they'll ever see home again.
This is exactly why we can't wait for the next disaster. Every day we delay action, more communities face Stefan's reality.
The sound of cracking ice in Blatten was a warning shot. The question isn't whether this will happen again, it's whether we'll be ready when it does. For Unstruct AI, I'm Sam Kokoro. Thank you for listening to The Hard Truths.